Welcome back, guys, to another episode of the Gruesome Garage. Before we get into this, I just want to say thank you guys so much for 1,000 subscribers. That means a lot to us. I know it's nothing compared to the other channels, but our main goal is to bring you guys information that we can't find on YouTube. We've been messing with this stuff for a couple years now, and there's a lot of stuff about the basic maintenance and that type of thing, but there's nothing really about modifying 4.0s. So we want to bring you the information, and looks like you guys want to see it. So like I said, thank you guys so much. We really appreciate it. We love it. Now, we know we said last week that hopefully we were going to get to the dyno on Sunday, which was when you guys are going to see this video being uploaded, and that's not going to happen. So next Sunday, a week from when this video is going up, is hopefully the day we're going to get to the dyno. It stinks, but it's really not a big deal. We're not in a rush. You know, it's been a year and a half since this Jeep has been tearing up the streets. We'd love to get it back out there, but we want to do it the right way. We don't want to blow this thing up, so we're going to have a professional tune it. So since you guys last seen this, we had all this piping in place, but we didn't have any clamps on, so we got our clamps set up here. As you can see, we got a little double coupling action here, which I don't like. So there's actually a piece of hose in here, or a pipe in here, because the fittings are too short. So I may replace this with one long clamp, long coupling, so it doesn't have as many clamps in. I don't know, we'll see, but just made it work for now. And we got this side done. Like I said, we needed a few 45s. So we got our 45 here, another 45 up into the turbo. And hopefully that should work for now. Eventually this whole hoop setup's coming out. As you can see clearly, it's not going to fit too nicely with our pipe here and with our coil packs and everything. So these are going to come out. I know we could cut this and make a whole new, bend it up over it and everything, but I'm not happy with the position of these. As I may have shown you before, I made a big mistake. I put the passenger side on first, and then I matched the driver's side to it, not realizing we got a problem over here. So I'm not happy with this. As you can see, I cut this out like an idiot when I first put them in, and I'm not happy. So I'm gonna take them out. I wanna move them forward. I'm gonna move the axle forward a little more just for clearance. But I'm gonna do all that after the dyno. I wanna get it tuned and know that the motor is good, ready to roll, so I can do all the rest of the work so we can get this thing wheeling in the spring. Something we did before we even started installing our Megasquirt on this Jeep was we took our leaf springs and we flipped them around, which actually, so the pin on the leaf spring that goes into the plate on the axle is not centered on the leaf spring eye to eye. So what we did was we flipped the leaf springs, and it actually pushes the axle back roughly 4 to 5 inches. And a lot of people make a big fuss about it. Oh, you're gonna screw up your driveline angle. And obviously we needed a longer drive shaft. So as you can see, we got a new one made with a bigger slip joint and actually a larger diameter tube. It's a lot beefier, so that should work pretty mint. Driveline angle seems pretty decent, so hopefully that'll work. As you can see on the other side, we have a bracket here for a anti-wrap bar, so we will be installing that. I'm not sure whether we'll put that in before or after the dyno, but that will go in because this axle likes to wrap a lot, you know. We got our crossbar bolted in place here. As you can see, we generously notched her out for our coil pack and our charge pipe here, our cold side. And as you can see, this is a real hack job, and this is not the way we're going to run it off-road. So don't comment all these crazy things. Oh, you're out of your mind. Yeah, I know it's garbage, but it's holding the front end together for the dyno. That's all that matters. Another thing we did was we vented our fuel cell. So this is a pre-made piece, loop-de-loop, and it goes down and it comes under the floor there. You can barely see it, but I will put the link in the description for this. You can get them in 6AN, 8AN, whatever you need. And That's how we vented it instead of running a pipe and coming all the way, you know, up here and back down, or on the bar, back down. This seems the best way to do it. There are the rollover valves inside here. This side gives you 2 vents. We just put another cap on it. So fuel cell is now ready to roll. One other thing we plan on doing before the dyno is an oil change. So I don't know, there's a lot of mixed information, mixed opinions about what oil you should be running. I prefer the Rotella T4 1540, so I run 5 quarts of that and a quart of the Lucas Oil Stabilizer. You guys do whatever you want. This is what I do. It works. Keeps the engine nice and quiet. Keeps everything well lubricated, in my opinion. But I am no master mechanic, so this is what I use. If you like it, good. If not, use whatever you want. So we tried to tune this thing a little better. We took our idle air control off and we set the values and made sure it was working properly. And we got it to idle a little bit, but really not that well. So at this point, we're going to bring it to the tuner. We think we have every bug sorted out, every little problem. So hopefully it won't be too much of an issue for him. We are just not very experienced with Tuner Studio or tuning at all in that matter. And we just like to have a professional do it and show us what we're doing wrong. So join us next week. Hopefully, we'll be getting this bad boy on the dyno and trying to make some power out of this Wu Tang Whirly boy. So stay tuned.